welcome to another episode of Unboxing with Paul. And today, I'm very excited to bring you Motorola's Moto G Stylus 2nd generation. Has it really been a whole year since Motorola released their first 5G budget smartphone? Let's take a look at it. Released in late April of this year, this phone retails for $445. So this is no longer a cheap or a budget device. So I hope Motorola definitely set that up and that they don't just say that they're a victim of inflation like every other company has been saying. We're gonna go ahead and put the phone aside for right now. And in the box, we got a very nice and actually useful quick start guide that tells you how to operate not only the stylus but also how to pop in your SIM card, what your cameras consist of, and so on. In there we also get, of course, terms and conditions, and something that I've come to appreciate from Motorola, they're very, very nice SIM ejector tools. They're not that cheap twisted wire kind that we've been getting from the likes of Apple and Samsung. So thank you, Motorola, for a nice SIM ejector tool. We get a Type A to Type C USB cable, and we also get Motorola's 10-watt wall adapter, of course, which is something that is a bit slow by today's standards, but at this point I'm just happy they included anything to begin with, as Apple, Samsung, and a lot of other manufacturers have opted to remove the power adapters altogether from their devices. Now the phone is a beautiful large slab of plastic coming at 6.8 inches, and we have a massive 1080 by 2460 120 hertz IPS LCD display that is going to give you much higher frame rates to be able to enjoy your games a lot more. And typically most phones have 60-90 hertz, and this one goes all the way up to 120, so it's something that's very nice to have. If we look over on the left side of the phone, we're going to be able to see our slim /SD card tray. If we look over at the top, we're going to be able to see a pinhole microphone. And when we go over to the right, you can see the volume sliders as well as the power button. And you can also appreciate me being driven up the wall, because very often I'm just trying to turn it up, I'm trying to turn it down a little, and I wind up ending my phone call when I'm turning off my game or my screen, where all I'm trying to do is adjust the volume. So I'd appreciate it if manufacturers would put these on opposite sides. And if we go over to the bottom, you can appreciate our headphone jack, you can appreciate our Type-C port, you can appreciate another pinhole microphone and speaker grills, as well as the piece de resistance, which is the stylus that is included with this device. Again, once we're inside the phone, you can see it's a very nicely and similarly laid out phone than what you've seen before, except the icons are a little bit rounder, and there's a little bit more of that Motorola bloatware in here, even though I used to laud them for that. Now they're starting to include a few of their things like their notifications, their notes, their recorder, their Moto app. So some of those I wish it didn't have. I wish they were built into the phone rather than taking up a slot on my app list. This version in particular does have 128 gigabytes of storage paired to 3 gigabytes of RAM, as well as having a Snapdragon 695 5G. We also have dual band Wi-Fi AC, we have Bluetooth 5.1, we have NFC, and we also have a huge 5,000 milliamp hour battery that's going to help with this longevity, since number one, our phone is so large, and number two, our processor is so flippin' power hungry. And again, just to look at those 120 gigs that we do have as storage. And now, since we're looking at the front, our selfie camera is a very nice 16 megapixel sensor, so those selfies should come out pretty flippin' crisp. And again, once more, when we look at the back, we see we have a 50 megapixel main lens, followed by an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and finally a 2 megapixel depth lens for that bokeh effect. Speaking of the cameras, let's go ahead and fire them up and see what they look like. And instead of talking a bunch of numbers, take a look at the actual pictures. So that is a selfie in portrait mode on the Moto G Stylus 2nd generation. And then let's go ahead, and then this is what video looks and sounds like on the selfie camera of the Moto G Stylus 2nd generation. My God, this is one crisp selfie camera. I can just already tell this is a very, very nice camera. That's leaps and bounds above the other smartphone cameras that we've seen, and it just looks really good. I can't stop looking at myself. It looks really crispy. And then if that was the selfie camera, I can't imagine just how much better the main lens is going to be. So then this is what video looks and sounds like on the main camera of the Moto G Stylus 2nd generation. And I am just so excited to see what these actually look like, as they look so flipping good on the viewfinder. I just can't wait. So now that we have Geekbench, we can go ahead and test out our benchmarks on this device. We can see we have our 6 cores clocked in at 1.8 gigahertz, and then our remaining 2 power cores at 2.21 gigahertz for those heavier, more power intensive tasks. And I will be right back with you guys as soon as this is over. Okay guys, and we are back. As you can see, we got a 667 for the single core, as well as a 1908 for the multi-core. And those numbers are actually pretty flipping good, as you're about to see. And again, just for you guys to be able to see, we have a 667 for the single core and a 1901 for the multi-core. And those are just some really, really good numbers, as we are more than 2/3 of the way there at the performance that a Galaxy S21 Ultra would have for, again, half the price. And we look at the multi-core, again, we're at a 1908. More than halfway, more than 2/3 the performance at half the cost. I will definitely take that. Go ahead and let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts on this phone? Would you pick up something like this? I do realize the price tag is a little bit high, but it's justifying it. It has some pretty crisp pictures, as you guys are able to see. The Geekbench test didn't take long at all. We got some extraordinarily great numbers, and it's a Motorola device. And as always, thanks for watching.